Welcome back to the critique. We're looking at a really strong set of financial analyses today.
Yeah, really dug into them.
It's all high-stakes stuff. We've got strategies, index status, and then Ripple's big push into European banking.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, the material's already in a great place. The clarity is there, the technical knowledge on, say, Saylor's rebuttal or Amina Bank's regulatory status, it's all spot on.
Absolutely. The details are sharp.
So our goal here is really about taking that strong foundation and just maximizing its impact, making it absolutely essential reading for that sophisticated audience.
Getting the most out of it.
Okay, so let's dig in. I think the first thing that really stands out is this tension between the journalism and the commercial side.
Right.
Let's start with the MSTR piece, the one about it staying in the Nasdaq 100.
Okay, yeah. So the core issue here, I think, is that the inclusion of commercially focused, off-topic advertisements just completely disrupts the flow. And, frankly, it compromises the objective tone of the analysis.
It really does. You have this incredibly serious, high-stakes moment.
Yeah, the whole identity of MSTR's on the line.
And then, bam, you get hit with what feels like, well, editorial whiplash.
Total whiplash. It's such a jarring shift.
You're going from analyzing institutional finance, NASDAQ index criteria, to a hard sell consumer ad.
For a credit card, no less.
Exactly. Suddenly we're talking about, up to 6% crypto cashback, JPYC compatibility. There's even an explicit access code in there.
MWVJXJ6475. Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, you lose that serious rater, the analyst, the trader. You lose them right there.
You do. And that's the weakness. It's this total collapse of the editorial firewall at the most critical moment. It just damages the perceived objectivity of the entire piece.
So what's the fix?
The suggestion has to be implementing a really strict internal guideline. You need a clear separation of firewall between this kind of critical financial analysis and direct commercial promotion.
Especially for a product that's aimed at a completely different audience.
Completely different. You're talking to institutional players, not someone looking for crypto cashback on their next purchase.
Okay, but let's be practical. I can hear the pushback already. Moving a high-conversion ad like that out of the main article, that could hit revenue, right? We need solutions that work commercially, too.
That's a totally fair challenge. And look, the answer isn't just removal. It's about strategic replacement.
Okay.
So, for a concrete example, yes, one option is you move the triad ad completely out of the body. Put it in a sidebar, a banner, label it clearly advertisement. Protect that reader flow.
Preserve the integrity of the analysis itself.
Exactly. But to solve the revenue problem, if you absolutely need monetization in the article, you substitute that ad with a link to something relevant, a piece of your own internal analysis.
Oh, so like one of the paid reports?
Precisely. You already have them listed. Link to something like the Plasma Chain Gaioto Kai Sets or that DeFi monthly report.
Right, so you're still monetizing, but you're doing it in a way that actually serves the reader who's already there.
You're targeting an interested researcher, not a consumer. It keeps the whole environment serious and adds value instead of distracting from it.
That's a great structural fix. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of integrity, let's look at the Ripple story. That one is strong for the exact opposite reason. Its integrity is built on this foundation of regulatory compliance.
Right, the Amina Bank partnership. It's a huge deal.
It is. It's solving that core friction for Web3 businesses.
The thing is, while the technical benefits of the Ripple payments integration are laid out really clearly, the article misses a huge opportunity to amplify its strategic importance by fully weaving in that European regulatory context.
I think I see what you're saying. The weakness is subtle, because all the facts are there. It mentions Amina Bank has FINMA approval, the MiCA license.
All correct.
But it's treated almost like a checkbox, like it's just some background detail, instead of being the central, driving strategic advantage for Ripple in the EU.
Exactly. And that makes the whole milestone feel, well, smaller than it is. MiCA isn't just another license. It's the standard for crypto across 27 countries.
It's the whole ballgame in Europe.
It is. So the suggestion has to be to elevate that discussion. Bring Amina Bank's regulated status right to the forefront of the analysis.
Connect it directly to Ripple's bigger strategy.
Yes, connect it to their goal of being that trusted bridge between fiat and blockchain rails.
Because that's the real story here. It's not just a tech partnership. It's a regulatory masterstroke.
That's the significance. So instead of just stating they are compliant, you need to analyze what that compliance enables them to do strategically.
In arguably the most complex institutional market in the world.
Right. For those clients, regulatory certainty isn't a bonus feature. It's everything.
So give me a concrete example. How do you reframe that?
Okay, so instead of just listing the licenses, you explicitly analyze how Amina's MiCA-compliant operations, combined with Ripple's insane coverage of global FX markets, sets a brand new compliance benchmark.
Ah, so it's not just a win for them, it's a new standard for everyone else.
It's a challenge to every other European bank considering adoption. This partnership proves it can be done and done safely.
And that confidence has to extend to the assets themselves, right? Like RLUSD and XRP.
100%. You need to expand on that. Detail how using those stablecoins within the MiCA framework provides that trust and reliability the Amina CPO talks about.
Because that's what makes it so attractive to other institutions.
It's exponentially more attractive. The story stops being just about faster payments and becomes about regulatory strategy and market capture. That's a much more powerful narrative for your audience.
That framing changes everything. It's not just a tech update, it's a strategic invasion. Okay, fantastic. Let's circle back to MSTR then, to that identity crisis at the heart of the whole Nasdaq inclusion debate.
Right.
The software company versus the Bitcoin fund.
Okay, so the analysis of Strategy's identity, is it a software company or is it a facto investment fund? It relies way too heavily on the company's own defense. It needs a much stronger independent analytical quantification to really satisfy a sophisticated reader.
I agree. The way it's structured now, it just feels like it's reporting two opposing claims.
It is.
It highlights the market's concern. It notes the MSCR review is happening, but then the main counterargument is just a direct quote from Michael Saylor.
Saying MSTR is an operating company with a $500 million software business.
And that's the weakness. It puts the journalist in this really passive position of just relaying claims. You have the market on one side, Saylor on the other, and no tools to judge.
But isn't there a risk there? If you start doing your own math and taking a definitive stance, you could alienate part of the audience. It's a sensitive topic.
That's a fair point, but I think for this level of analysis, just relaying quotes isn't enough. The goal isn't to take a side, it's to give the reader the tools to make their own judgment.
Okay, so less about reporting claims, more about providing analysis.
Exactly. So the suggestion is to synthesize these competing arguments. You do it by quantifying the tension that's already there between the operating business and the investment strategy.
And the data is all in the notes. We just need to use it.
We just need to put it front and center.
So what's a concrete way to do that? To quantify it without taking a position?
The numbers are screaming to be put side by side. You create this powerful analytical juxtaposition. Contrast the stated $500 million software business
Okay.
against the sheer scale of the company's treasury. We're talking 660,624 BTC.
Which is what? About 9.1 trillion yen?
Exactly. You put 500 million next to 9.1 trillion yen. That single comparison does more analytical work than quoting Saylor ever could. It lets the reader assess the investment fund concern for themselves.
That stark contrast. Yeah, that is the analytical power shot that's missing. It's objective, it's factual, and it gets right to the heart of the debate.
It does.
And, building on that, you could also go a step further. Explore the actual criteria that MSCI and other index providers use.
Get into the weeds of the governance.
Right? Ask the question, what specific index rules around revenue sources or asset correlation does MSTR need to worry about? That moves the conversation beyond Saylor's PR and into the verifiable mechanics of index inclusion.
That gives it the depth this kind of reader demands. This has been really good. A focused way to take what is, like we said, excellent material and just elevate it.
I can really see what you're going for here. Let's make these 3 major shifts to dramatically strengthen the work.
Okay, let's recap the actionable steps.
First, clean up that structural flow. Put up that editorial firewall. Get the commercial clutter out of the main analysis.
And swap those distracting consumer ads for relevant internal links.
Exactly. Second, deepen the strategic analysis of the Ripple partnership. You have to leverage that MiCA regulatory context,
Turn it from a technical update into a major European strategy piece.
anchored in institutional compliance. And third, strengthen that analytical voice in the MSTR debate. Quantify the tension.
Put the software revenue right next to that massive 9.1 trillion yen Bitcoin treasury.
That's it. Make those structural and analytical shifts, and we would absolutely love to see the revised work for a follow-up critique.